A man walks into a bar with a banana in his ear. Barman. Excuse me, sir, but did you know that there is a banana in your ear? Man. What was that? Barman. There's a banana in your ear. Man 2. What? Barman. You have a banana in your ear. Man. What? Barman. There is a banana in your ear. Man. I'm sorry, I can't hear. There is a banana in my ear. A 75-year-old man walked into a crowded doctor's waiting room and approached the desk. The receptionist said, "Yes, sir. What are you seeing the doctor for today?" "There's something wrong with my d," he replied. The receptionist became irritated and said, "You shouldn't come into a crowded waiting room and say things like that." "Why not? You asked me what was wrong and I told you," he said. The receptionist replied, "Now you have caused some needless embarrassment in this room full of people. You should have said there is something wrong with your ear or something and discussed the problem further with the doctor in private." The man replied, "You should not ask people questions in a room full of strangers if the answer could embarrass anyone." The man then decided to walk out, waited several minutes, and then re-entered. The receptionist smiled smugly and asked, "Yes?" "There's something wrong with my ear," he stated loudly. The receptionist nodded approvingly and smiled, knowing he had taken her advice. "What is wrong with your ear, sir?" "I can't piss out of it," he replied. Two guys are getting ready for a costume party, but there's a catch. The host said they have to get dressed up as emotions. So the first guy goes home and sticks his dick in a pear. The second guy goes home and sticks his dick in a big bowl of custard. They show up at the party together and knock on the door. The host opens up the door and his mouth falls agape as he sees the two. "What the hell are you doing? What are these costumes?" The first guy looks at the host and says, "Yo, I'm deep in despair." The second guy says, "I'm f***ing disgusted." After an amazing 69 with his girlfriend, Kevin remembered he had a dentist appointment. He was afraid that the dentist would smell pussy on his breath, so he brushed his teeth 7 times and on top of that 2 liters of mouthwash. As he arrived at the dentist, he chewed 5 strong mints too. The dentist told him to take a seat. Feeling confident and relaxed, he opened his mouth wide. The dentist got close enough and said, "Man, did you have a 69 before you came here?" Kevin, shocked, says, "Why, no! Does my breath smell like pussy?" The dentist says, "No, but your forehead smells like ass." A woman goes to a fortune teller. As they sat there in the candlelit tent, the mystic waved her hands around the crystal ball, divining the woman's future. Suddenly, the soothsayer's hands went to her face and a gasp of horror escaped her mouth. "I don't know how to tell you this, so I'll be blunt," the fortune teller says. "You need to prepare yourself to become a widow. Your husband will be murdered in a manner most gruesome before the year is done." The woman was petrified, unable to process the information that's been given to her. Her hands began to shake and her throat felt like a desert as she barely managed to croak out the question on her mind. "Will I be acquitted?" Walking through the woods, a man comes up to another man hugging a tree with his ear firmly against the tree. Seeing this, he inquires, just out of curiosity, "What the hell are you doing?" "I'm listening to the music of the tree." "You gotta be kidding me." "No, would you like to give it a try?" "Well, okay." So he wraps his arms around the tree and presses his ear up against the tree. With this, the other guy slaps a set of handcuffs on him, takes his wallet, jewelry, car keys, then strips him naked and leaves. 2 hours later, another nature lover strolls by, sees this guy handcuffed to the tree, stark naked, and asked, "What the hell happened to you?" He tells the guy the whole story about how he got there. While he was telling his story, the other guy shakes his head in sympathy, walks around behind him, kisses him behind the ear, and says, "Sweetie, this just isn't your day." A monkey is smoking a joint on a tree when a lizard walks past. The lizard looks up and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" The monkey says, "Smoking a joint. Come up and join me." So the lizard climbs up and sits next to the monkey, and they have another joint. After a while, the lizard says his mouth is dry and that he's going to get a drink from the river. At the riverbank, the lizard is so stoned that he leans over too far and falls in. A crocodile sees this and swims over to the stoned lizard, helping him to the side. He then asks the lizard, "What's the matter with you?" The lizard explains that he was up in the tree smoking a joint with the monkey and his mouth got dry, and that he was so wasted that when he went to get a drink from the river, he fell in. The inquisitive crocodile says he has to check this out. He walks into the jungle and finds the tree where the monkey is sitting, finishing a joint. He looks up and says, "Hey, monkey!" The monkey looks down and says, "OMG, dude! How much water did you drink?" Phone rings. Wife answers. "Hello?" A creepy voice on the other end breathes heavily and whispers, "I bet you've got a tight little peach down with no hair." She pauses, then calmly replies, "Yes, I do. He's watching TV. Did you want to speak to him?" A worried housewife sprang to the telephone when it rang and listened with relief to the kindly voice in her ear. "How are you, darling?" she said. "What kind of a day are you having?" "Oh, Mother," said the woman on the phone, breaking into bitter tears. "I've had such a bad day. The baby won't eat and the washing machine broke down. I haven't had a chance to go shopping, and besides, I've just sprained my ankle and I have to hobble around. On top of that, the house is a mess and I'm supposed to have 2 couples to dinner tonight." The mother was shocked and was at once all sympathy. "Oh, darling," she said, "sit down, relax, and close your eyes. I'll be over in half an hour. I'll do your shopping, clean up the house, and cook your dinner for you. I'll feed the baby, and I'll call a repairman I know who'll be at your house to fix the washing machine promptly. Now stop crying. I'll do everything. In fact, I'll even call George at the office and tell him he ought to come home and help out for once." "George?" said the woman. "Who's George?" "Why, George, your husband. Is this 223-1374? No, this is 223-1375. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I have the wrong number." There was a short pause, and the other woman said, "Does this mean you're not coming over?" John and Fred were digging a ditch when Fred made a careless swipe with his spade and cut off John's ear. "Help me find it in all this mud," said John. "If we find it, they can sew it back on." After a couple of minutes, Fred triumphantly shouted, "Here it is," handing the ear to John. "That's not it," said John, throwing the ear back in the muddy ditch. "Mine had a pencil behind it." His mother was at the end of her wit. Not knowing what to do, she went to the local church to counsel with the priest. "Father, my little boy is a darling, but he has a wicked habit of saying nasty words. I don't know where he learnt them, but he says things that would make a sailor blush. What do I do?" "Well, do you give him any allowance?" "Yes, $10. Should I take his allowance?" "No, that would cause more harm than good. Instead, you will tell him that, for every bad word he says, you will deduct a penny from his allowance. At the end of the month, he will donate the deducted money to the church as a way to ask for forgiveness. That will teach him the consequences of his actions and also to value his money." The mother was glad with the plan and did so. At the end of the month, little Johnny came to the church to pay for his language. "So, my son," said the priest, "how many bad words did you spoke this month?" 999, Father. 900. The priest sighed. "Well, I hope this will teach you a lesson about controlling that tongue of yours. So, pay up. $9.99 from your allowance." Pulling a face, the boy passes a $10 bill to the priest. "Oh, my son, I don't have any change." "No problem, Father. Go f*** yourself, and now we are even." A little boy named Johnny is going to visit his neighbor's baby who was born with no ears. "Listen, Johnny, you must not mention the baby's ears or I'll spank you," Johnny's mom explains to him. They arrive at the neighbor's house and Johnny asks the neighbor, "So how much does he weigh?" "He weighs a lot for his age. He's very healthy." The neighbor is excited to have someone so interested in her baby. "Has he spoke yet?" Johnny asks. He's already said, Mama. He shouldn't have said that for weeks. The neighbor getting even more excited. How's his eyesight? Johnny asks next. His eyesight is perfect, the neighbor states. Good, 'cause he's f***ed if he needs glasses, Johnny replies. A teenage boy keeps depositing $1 million in his bank account every day. One day, Mrs. Mary, the bank manager, asks him to provide the source of all the money he's depositing. I win it through betting, he answers. No one can win that much money so consistently through betting, she says. Want proof? How about we bet $1,000 that I'll kiss my own eye right here? What? That's impossible. All right, I accept. So the boy removes his artificial eye, kisses it, and puts it back. Hand me my $1,000, please. Mrs. Mary gets frustrated and challenges him again the next day. Okay, how about this? I bet $3,000 that I'll lick my own ear. She carefully checks his ears, making sure they're real, and agrees. Then the boy removes his fake tongue and licks his ear. The next day, Mrs. Mary asks for a rematch, but no tricks this time. All right, I bet $5,000 that you have pierced nipples. Ha! No, says Mrs. Mary as she lifts her top and shows her unpierced chest. Fair enough, here's your $5,000. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll go collect my winnings. And she was confused as she saw all the employees handing money to the boy. What did you do this time? She asked. Oh, I bet each one of them $10,000 that I could get you to flash your chest in front of everyone. So there's this group of guys all serving life sentences. They've been locked up together for 20 years. Over time, they've told the same jokes so many times, they don't even tell the whole joke anymore, just the numbers. One guy yells out, 37, and the whole room bursts out laughing. Another shouts, 52. Same thing. Everyone's dying laughing. A new guy, Johnny, comes in, watches for a bit, then asks if he can try. He builds up his courage, stands up and shouts, 23. Silence. Nothing. Confused, Johnny asks, what happened? Why didn't anyone laugh? One of the old-timers shrugs and says, some people just don't know how to tell them. A Chinese doctor can't find a job in a hospital in America, so he opens a clinic and puts a sign outside that reads, get treatment for $20, if not cured, get back $100. An American lawyer thinks this is a great opportunity to earn $100 and goes to the clinic. Lawyer, I have lost my sense of taste. Chinese, nurse, bring medicine from box number 14 and put 3 drops in patient's mouth. Lawyer, this is kerosene. Chinese, congrats, your sense of taste is restored. Give me my $20. The annoyed lawyer goes back after a few days to try to recover his money. Lawyer, I have lost my memory. I can't remember anything. Chinese, nurse, bring medicine from box number 14 and put 3 drops in his mouth. Lawyer, annoyed. This is kerosene. You gave this to me last time for restoring my taste. Chinese, congrats. You got your memory back. Give me $20. The fuming lawyer pays him, then comes back a week later determined to get back $100. Lawyer, my eyesight has become very weak. I cannot see at all. Chinese, well, I don't have any medicine for that, so take this $100. Lawyer, staring at the note. But this is $20, not $100. Chinese, congrats, your eyesight is restored. Give me $20. In one small rural town, the sheriff also fulfilled the role of the town's veterinarian. One night, the phone rang, and his wife answered. An agitated voice inquired, is your husband there? He is, but tell me, do you need him as the sheriff or the vet? The wife asked. Both, was the reply. We can't get our dog's mouth open, and there's a burglar in it. A judge was interviewing a woman regarding her pending divorce and asked, what are the grounds for your divorce? She replied, about 4 acres and a nice little home in the middle of the property with a stream running by. No, he said. I mean, what is the foundation of this case? It is made of concrete, brick, and mortar, she responded. I mean, he continued, what are your relations like? I have an aunt and uncle living here in town, and so do my husband's parents. He said, do you have a real grudge? No, she replied. We have a 2-car carport and have never really needed one. Please, he tried again. Is there any infidelity in your marriage? Yes, both my son and daughter have stereo sets. We don't necessarily like the music, but the answer to your questions is yes. Ma'am, does your husband ever beat you up? Yes, she responded. About twice a week he gets up earlier than I do. Finally, in frustration, the judge asked, Lady, why do you want a divorce? Oh, I don't want a divorce, she replied. I've never wanted a divorce. My husband does. He said he can't communicate with me. A guy sticks his head into a barber shop and asks, Hey, buddy, how long before I can get a haircut? The barber looks around the shop and says, About 2 hours. And the guy leaves. A few days later, the same guy sticks his head in the door and asks, How long before I can get a haircut? Again, the barber looks around at shop full of customers and says, About 2 hours. The guy leaves. A week later, the same guy sticks his head in the shop and asks, How long before I can get a haircut? The barber looks around the shop and says, About an hour and a half. The guy leaves. The barber looks over at a friend in the shop and says, Hey, Joey, I'll give you a free cut if you follow that guy and see where he goes. In a little while, Joey comes back into the shop laughing hysterically. The barber says, This must be good. Where did he go when he left here? Joey says, To your house. A few years ago, when I used to travel often for work, I'd usually fly out early Monday mornings and return late Friday nights. My wife, Nora, would sometimes bring the kids along to pick me up from the airport. It was kind of our little tradition. One weekend, I had a short 2-day trip, so I told Nora I'd just drive myself and leave the car at the airport. No big deal. When I got back, it was past midnight and pouring rain. I tiptoed into the house, soaked and exhausted, dreaming of my own bed. I crept into the bedroom, and there they were. My wife, our daughter Lily, 10, and our son Max, 4, all snuggled together like a human burrito. Apparently, the thunderstorm had scared them, and I lost my spot. Next morning, I gently explained to the kids that it's okay to sleep with Mom when there's a scary storm. But maybe save room for Dad when I'm coming home, okay? They nodded solemnly like they'd just signed a peace treaty. A few weeks later, I had another short trip. This time, Nora and the kids came to meet me at the arrivals gate, right as the plane landed. The terminal was packed, people everywhere, waiting to welcome their loved ones. As I came out, little Max spotted me and ran full speed, yelling loud enough to wake up the entire airport. Daddy, guess what? Nobody slept with Mommy while you were gone this time. Instant silence. People froze, heads turned, eyes widened, some gasped. One guy dropped his coffee. And there I was, standing in the middle of Newark International, trying to explain to 100 strangers that yes, I do trust my wife, and no, my marriage isn't falling apart. Thanks, Max. Never a dull moment. The older cowboy turns to the younger one and says, You see that? Just by putting his ear to the ground, he can hear what's coming from miles off. The Indian lifts his head and says, A full wagon, drawn by a single horse, 2 passengers and a dog. The Indian puts his head back down and continues, heading east, about 3 miles away. The young cowboy exclaims, That's amazing. The Indian replies, Yep, they ran me over a half hour ago. A man sat on the edge of the bed, watching his wife admire herself in the mirror. Her birthday was just around the corner, so he asked gently, What would you like this year, honey? Without missing a beat, she said, I wish I was 8 again. The next morning, he sprang into action. He made her a giant bowl of chocolate cereal, just like kids eat. Then he whisked her off to the wildest amusement park in town. Every ride, she rode it. Twice. The Loop of Doom, the Gut Twister, the Mega Scream, all of them. After 5 hours of whiplash and motion sickness, he treated her to McDonald's, Happy Meal, chocolate shake, the works. Still not done, he surprised her with movie tickets to the loudest superhero blockbuster in theaters. Popcorn, soda, M&Ms, everything a sugar-crazed 8-year-old could want. By the end of the day, she could barely walk. She flopped onto the bed like a jellyfish in heels. With a proud smile, he leaned in and said, "So, did you enjoy being 8 again?" She opened one eye, groaned, and muttered, "I meant my dress size, you goofball." A highway patrol officer had a favorite secret spot, just around a curve, perfect for catching speeders with his radar gun. Hidden from view, he used it every year on busy weekends like Labor Day. So, early that Saturday, he set up shop, radar ready, coffee in hand. But something strange happened. No one was speeding. In fact, every car passed him going exactly the speed limit. Some drivers even smiled and waved as they went by. Weird, he thought. No way they can see me from the road. Curious, he got out of his car and walked a bit up the highway. About 100 yards away, he found the reason. A kid was standing by the road holding a giant hand-painted sign that read, "Speed trap ahead." The officer couldn't help but laugh. Then he walked a little further and spotted a second kid, about 100 yards past the trap. This one had a sign, too. It simply said, "Tips," with a bucket full of coins at his feet. After a very bumpy landing, the pilot came on the speaker and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, apologies for the hard landing. Honestly, blame the runway, not me." Per company policy, he stood at the door to greet passengers as they left, repeating, "Thanks for flying with us and sorry again for the landing." One elderly lady with a cane slowly approached him, leaned in and said, "Son, I didn't hear the announcement. Did we land or did we get shot down?" On another flight, delayed for 2 hours, a curious passenger asked, "Excuse me, why did we leave so late?" The flight attendant smiled and replied, "Well, the pilot noticed strange sounds coming from one engine, and it took us some time to find a pilot brave enough to fly anyway." Later that night, another sweet older woman kept looking out the window. It was pitch dark, and all she could see was the blinking wing light. After a while, she pressed the call button and whispered to the crew, "I think you should let the captain know. His left turn signal's been blinking for 20 minutes."